Yeah. Okay, team. So just for your information, okay, we will be having session on this weekend also. So please plan your schedule accordingly. If any changes in my schedule also, I will update you in the meeting, okay, in the training, right? Right. So, okay, Tim. So we are good to start our training. So whoever joined it today, okay, so far we completed, this is the already running batch team. Yesterday we completed, okay, last couple of days, we discussed the module 1, that is TSO ISPF. Okay, yesterday we finished this module, and from today we are going to start the another module is JCL. Okay, so and what are the topics we are going to discuss and the duration of the training, all of them you can reach out to me over WhatsApp or Telegram or whichever from where you contacted, here from where you joined the this meeting, you can reach out there only. So I'll give more details. Okay. So, but I want to utilize this time for explaining the content only. Okay. So JCL stands Job Control Language. Okay. JCL stands Job Control Language. But it is not like a, programming language. You can say it is like a scripting language. Okay. And when you see the keyword called language, you might feel that it is something like a COBOL or it is like a other programming language, but it is not the case. Okay. It is not the case, right? So using JCL, okay, using JCL, what we can do, right? So first you might be having a doubt, what is JCL? Already I gave the abbreviation, what is the JCL stands, right? So using JCL, we can compile the code. Okay. So using JCL, we can compile the code. Basically, we can compile and run the programs. Okay. So it is an interface. Okay. It is an interface or bridge. Okay. It is an interface between application program and OS. Okay. OS. It is a bridge between application program and OS, operating system. The operating system can be ZOS, okay, and application program COBOL or PL1 and so on. Okay, why it is an interface or what is the role of it? I'll explain it, don't worry. Okay, so this is the one purpose of the JCL, what we do. Apart from that, using TSO, in a TSO SPF, what we did it, we created the file, we created the file. Okay, it is a PS file and we created the PDS file. In fact, we can create the VSAM file. We can copy the data. Okay, we can copy the data from PS to PS, PDS members to another PDS, and we can move the file. We can move the file data, and we can rename the file. We can delete the file. Okay, these are all we are able to do with the TSYSPF. If you want to do all of them, if you want to do all of them, we can do that. Okay, we can create a file. We can create a file. It can be a PS or PDS or VSAM. If you want to copy the data from PS to PS, we can do it. If you want to move the data from one file to another file, we can do it. We can rename, we can delete. So what are the things you are doing with the TSYSPF options? We will be able to do with the JCL also. We will be able to do with the JCL also, right? So then, okay, why when we have a TSYSPF, why we need to do with these? Sorry, guys. Okay, why we need to do with the JCL? That might be your question, right? That might be your question. So the answer here, team, okay, what we do, we write a code, we write a JCL, we write a JCL to copy or to delete something. So that code, I will tell to the system. Okay, I'll tell you the system. We have a something called scheduler tool. Okay, so there is a term called scheduler tool. So we have a scheduler tool called CA7, Control M, okay, OPC, CA7, Control C, OPC, IBM, Tivoli, scheduler, Tivoli scheduler, TWS or workload, yeah, TWS, okay, Tivoli work scheduler. So like this, there are multiple scheduling tools are there. So the responsibility of these tools to execute a program on a particular date is like an alarm. Okay. What is this? Our alarm. Okay. Clock. So if you say that I want to execute this program, this JCL every day morning 10 o'clock, or I want to execute X program or Y JCL every day, every weekend, I want to submit it, right? So if I want to do that, execution based on some days and all, we can do with the help of scheduler tool. So we write a JCL to delete a file, but I want to delete that file because, or I want to rename, I want to copy it. So I want to copy the data from one file to another file. Same JCL, I want to execute every weekend, every month end, every first week of the month or last week of the month. So, so that's control. I'll tell to CA7, execute this JCL on every weekend. So executing on a particular date and time will be done with the CA7. So these scheduling tools, I will tell where is our JCL, which JCL should execute, right? So I'm telling you this one because, okay, I'm telling you because we are able to do with the TSY script, then why we need to do? This is the answer for you. When we want to execute through, JCLs only, so that time TSY script doesn't help you, right? Is it clear, team? Right. So I'm assuming that there are no queries from your end. So this is all about JCL team. We don't have much theory about JCL. Okay, like history. Okay, we don't have some history and architecture, all and so on. Okay, it's very pretty simple. So we use to compile the code because if you write a COBOL code, you cannot run directly and your JetWise cannot understand COBOL program directly. So we need to ensure we need to convert from high level language from COBOL to machine understandable format where JetWise will understand. So to convert from source language, human readable format to system understandable format, to do that we need a JCL. We use JCL here. Okay, we use JCL. So this is all about introduction to JCL. What is JCL and what we can do with the JCL. Are you clear?
Yes, Venkat.
Right. So now, okay, so you understood what you can do with the JCL. Now, how to do it? That is next choice is how to do it. Okay, how to do with the JCL, right? When if I want to create, how to do it? how we can do it. So if I want to copy, how we can do it. So let's try to understand that. Okay. So for that, we need to write a JCL. Okay. Job control language. So we write JCL programs or JCL code in any member of PDS. JCL code, you can write in any member of the PDS or PS file. So where we can write the JCL program or JCL statements in any existing member, no problem, or in PS file. But the rule is the record length of the file should be 80. Okay, record length of the file 80. So you can use existing PDS to write the JCL, or you can use new PDS to do that. But the maximum record length, it should be 80. You cannot keep less or more because system understand your JCL with that particular record length. And the record format should be fixed block. Okay, record format should be fixed block. So you have to ensure this part. So if you have a data set with this format, okay, then no problem at all. You are good to write the JCL. You are good to write the JCL. Okay, Venkat, I understood where I have to write. Nice. Then how to write it, right? How to write. So, JCL program is JCL program is consist of JCL statements. It consists of JCL statement. JCL program has multiple JCL statements. It has multiple statement. Okay. So statement 1, JCL statement 1, JCL statement 2, JCL statement 3, JCL statement 4. So you can write meaningful under the code which gives you outcome. So you can write that code. Okay. So you can write multiple JCL statements. Okay. So some people will call as a line, right? Okay. Or some people call as a in program, few languages we call as instruction. But here we call as a JCL statement. Okay. So if you see any valid JCL, it is consist of multiple JCL statements. It is a consist of multiple statements. So how to write the JCL statement? How to write the JCL statement? So guys, we are starting practical part from now. So far, what I explained is a theory. So whatever I'm going to explain from now is very, very, very important. If you are new to JCL, okay, you did not write your own JCL so far, which means that you should know everything from now. Okay, right. So is JCL statement is a combination of 5 fields. Okay, JCL statement, if you take any JCL statement, it is a combination of 5 fields. One is identifier field, the name field, operation field, operand field, and comment. Okay. So which are all mandatory among all 5 that we will discuss later. Okay. So 3, 4, 5. So identifier field, name field, operation field, operand, or we call as a parameters. So parameters, okay, and comment. So the 5th one is optional. Okay, 5th one is optional. Then 1 to 4 is mandatory. Okay, 1 to 4 is mandatory. Okay, so I hope you're clear till now. Right. So now what each field is. Okay, so we discussed when I listed all five. Okay, our code always starts with always whenever you see the JCL, always it is going to contains all these five. Okay, first let me talk about identifier field. Okay, identifier field. So JCL statement should start. There is no other option. Okay, should start with identifier field. So by the way, JCL is a structured language team. JCL is a structured language, which means that there are some rules. Okay, there are some rules. There is a structure. If you don't follow the structure, if you don't follow the rules, then it throws an error. Okay, it throws an error, right? So hence we should follow the rules. We should follow the rules or restrictions, whatever the things are there in the JCL. So because if I say yes, it should, if I say you have to write from here, you should write from there only. If you change their starting position, it is going to throw a JCL error, syntax error. Okay, right. So the first one you talk about, identifier. So JCL statement should start with the identifier field. Okay. So JCL statement should start with identifier field, right? It should start with the identifier field. And identifier field, okay, starts from first column. Okay, it should start from first column. Okay, so length of the field 2 to 3 characters. So 2 to 3 characters. And valid data is slash 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 star slash slash star. So this is we use for commenting. This is end of the instant. Don't worry if you don't know all these three. We will talk about it. Okay. So end of the JCL program, or to define JCL statement also we use the same. Okay. So quickly let me connect to the server. So 122.102.7.3. Log on Venkat A. So I logged in. Quickly, I'll create a PDS, partitioned data set. I'll type ISPF. So 3.2. So B17.jcl lib. Always your volume serial should be SPL001. PS file and PDS volume, those files should store only on SPL001. I will enter tracks, 2 tracks, primary quantity, secondary quantity, 3 tracks, and I want to create a PDS. I'm keeping 4, directory block 4 into 6, 24 minus 1, 23. We discussed about this formula. So we can create max to max 23 members in it. 80 record length, 800, it is a PDS. So I told you, right? The record length of the PDS should be 80 fixed block. File got created. Is it clear?
Yes.
Once again, Venkat.
Whenever we are creating a PDS, the record length should be 80. Okay.
Okay.
The formula, I hope if you're talking about the formula, okay, how many members will be there in a PDS? So there is a formula directory block into 6 minus 1. Directory block into 6 minus 1. Okay.
Okay.
Now, so I created a data set. I'll go there. So Venkat A B17 star JCL. So as it is a empty PDS, we need to create a member in this way. I'll give program 1. Enter. So the member name rules you already knows. Reset. So always your JCL code should be in uppercase. Hence you write a caption. So as I told you, JCL is a structured language. You should know column positions where you are writing. What is the first rule, team? We have to write JCL statement. So I'll write 2 slashes. You can see here I'm starting from the first column because identifier should start with the first column. That's why I kept on the first. Hey, Venkat, I like number 5. Can I write in this way? No, it doesn't allow because in JCL, identifier field should be from first column. That is a rule. Okay. See, if I want to comment a line, so we use comments in a JCL, to more documentation purpose, to give more description about that code or that particular logic, we give a comments. Okay. So demo on JCL statements. So the rule is // star. Okay, slash should start, identifier should start from the first column. After star, anything you give, it will be considered as a comment only. The entire line comment. This is entire line comment. Any queries so far? Right. Okay. Right. Now you understood identifier. Next, we'll discuss about the name field. So name field always it should start from third column. Third column. Name field should start from third column. So length of the name field is 1 to 8 characters. So the valid, so it can be name field values, name field values can be user defined or system defined. Okay, if it is user defined, then follow the below rules. Example, name field can start with the A to Z or special character @# okay, and name field can have A to Z special characters which I mentioned on the top, @ hash dollar or 0 to 9. So name field cannot start with the number, but it can end with character or special character or number. This is all about name field. Okay. So if you know system defined, okay, or system defined or predefined, whatever you call, right? So there is something called sysout. There is something called sysin, sysprint, sys, tsin. Like this, there are some predefined DD names are there. Okay, we will discuss. Sorry, name fields are there. We will discuss about them later. Okay, I hope you are clear. So now I'll write that. I'll write Venkat AJ. Is it a valid or invalid? It's a valid because it's starting with the character and the length of the name field is 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The length is 8. Do I need to keep 8 as it is? No. You can keep 3 characters. You can keep 6 and so on. 1 to 8 max. Okay. So that is all about name field. The next one, operation field. So there are 3 values are there. Okay. So give at least one space before and after operation field. So value can be either job or execute or DD. So only you can specify these 3. Okay, only you can specify these 3 on a JCL operation field. So job, execute or DD. Any of 3, any one of them you can mention on operation field. So this is very, very important. Okay. So this statement only tells what it does, that statement. So, if you write a JCL statement, we don't know what it does, right? The functionality of the statement is going to indicate by operation field only. Okay. Now, so job, okay, there is a job, execute. So on execute, we specify this one, we use this one to specify the program name. So what is the use of execute? To specify the program name. So we use execute to specify the program name. There is something called DD. We use this one to specify the dataset information. So you are creating a file, or what file you want to create. What is the file name? What is the record length? What is the record format of the file? You need to specify the parameters, right? So those parameters we specify on DD name. Okay. So we use DD when you want to specify either existing file name or new file name. Okay, if you want to create a new file, or if you want to delete the new file, if you want to rename it, or if you want to copy it, doesn't matter, right? You need to specify the file name. So that file name we need to mention on this DD statement. Okay, so on this DD statement, we need to specify the file. When there is a requirement to specify the file name, only this is the possibility. So then if you want to specify the program execution, job is the one, always JCL program, or sorry, okay, where I am here, right? JCL program or code should start with job statement only. Okay, are you clear? Always JCL program or code should start with the job statement only. So let's go here. So I'll give slashes Venkat J and give one space. I'll give a job. So why I am writing a job, I'll explain you that eventually. But for time being, you remember as a blindly one point that so JCL should start with the job. Job is the operation field. It should, you should mention one space before, after. That is a rule. If you avoid that rule, if you don't follow it, it will throw an error. So then the fourth field is parameters. So parameters are predefined or user defined. Okay. So parameters are going to vary, based on operation field value. So what does mean? If it is a job, you write specific parameters which are related to job statement. If the parameters, if you're writing a execute statement, then parameters are very specific to execute on DD. So the parameters which you write on execute, it may not allow, it is not valid on DD and vice versa. Is it clear? Guys, can you hear me?
One more time, sir.
Sorry.
Can you say it one more time?
So the parameter which you write on execute, it may not valid on the DD and vice versa. Example, I will write execute PSM is equal to IEF BR 14. So basically, this is the parameter. So I cannot write this parameter like this. It is invalid because DD, dataset description, we use DD to specify the dataset information, not to specify, program name on DD, right? So parameters are going to vary based on operation field. So there are few parameters which are valid only on job card. There are few parameters which are valid only on execute. Similarly on DD. Okay, I hope you're clear.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. So this is all about parameters. Okay. On job, one the parameter which is unique are only allowed on execute pro accounting information. So I will give my contact number. Sorry, wrong number. Yeah. So this is a accounting information. Okay. What does mean team? This is for billing purpose. Okay. I will give a one small example for you. Later, I will give more details about these parameters later. So I guess you are aware in apartment. Okay, there are multiple flats will be there, right? So how the electricity bill will be generated for each flat? So there is a meter. See, everyone using common public power supply only, power only. But how government knows how much you are using, how much your neighbor is using, how others are, how much, how many units they are using, how they are calculating. They need some tracker, right? That is meter. So meter is a unique identifier. Every house or a flat in apartment has one meter with some meter, some ID, right? Meter ID or universal ID, whatever you call, right? So that we are using that particular meter for billing purpose. Based on your consumption, okay, the government is going to charge the amount from you. Same server is using by multiple projects, multiple clients. If that is the case, I want to track it. I want to track it, how much we used it, who used it, which project used it. If you want to track the usages, we use to track it, we use the accounting information. So what is the valid accounting information we are supposed to give? That will be given by your lead or your supervisor, whoever give the KT, or you can see the existing JCL programs in our project and refer what accounting information they mentioned. And you can ask your colleagues as you are new to the project, can I use the same accounting information if I am writing the code? So you can ask it. So if you give any valid, I'll tell you the rules of accounting information later. But I'm explaining JCL statements, okay? So this is all about accounting information in high level. Any queries? Right. So the next one, comma, each parameter is separated by comma. Okay, parameter operands. Each parameter is separated by comma. So I'll go with here comma, like author Venkat since 2010. Who is writing this program? Okay, who is writing that program? So that we specify in the accounting information. Okay, sorry. Who is writing the program? That author name, or which team is coding this code. You can write the team name or the programmer name. So programmer name. What is the parameter? Programmer name. So I cannot write these two values on execute or on DD. It's invalid because these two are very specific to job, right? Like that. There is a third parameter, notify. Once you submit the JCL, okay, you want to know whether JCL got executed successfully or not, or you want to inform to the other user about your JCL execution. So I want to know myself, I'll give Venkat A. Okay. If you want to tell the status of this particular job submission, you can give other user ID on the same server. On the same server, if you have some XYZ other ID, you can use it. If you give some other ID, the other person will get the notification about your job. Okay. Again, this is very specific to job only. You cannot write on other statements. So how many lines, how many arc fields are there? Identifier, name field, operation, and operands are parameters. Yeah. Any queries?
Venkat, within these, what will be the positional parameters and what
We
will be
will
the
discuss.
keyword?
Okay. We are yet to discuss. We will discuss later. Okay. As we are
Okay.
in the starting of the, JCL statements, we'll discuss it. Okay. So the next one, okay, let's talk about one more statement. So I'll give identifier. So 2 slashes identifier. Always JCL code should start with identifier. Then step 1, which is user defined, as I told you, is starting with the character. It can have the numbers, and it is less than 8 and 1 to 8. So give one space. Execute is the another statement. Okay. So to specify the program. So one of the parameter on execute is PCM. So which program you want to execute? You want to execute predefined program, or you want to execute user defined? If you already having, if you are already having COBOL program, then you specify that. If you don't have COBOL program, then you cannot write it. Whichever the program you have, you can write it. So I'm using one dummy utility called IEF BR14 and save it. Okay. This is how we can write the JCL. Now, I want to know whether, in order to submit the JCL, how to write the comment, by the way, team? After last parameter, this is identifier is there, name field is there, operation is there, operand. So give one space after last parameter. It is execute statement. Save. Is it clear? Any queries, team? Okay. Now, once the code is, if you want to submit the JCL team, minimum one step should be there. Minimum one step should be there. Should be there. So one step means one execute. So how many execute statements are there? One. So minimum one should be there. I have written that. And once you write this, you can write submit. So why we need to submit? Yeah, what is the outcome of this code? Nothing. That's why I said IFBR14 is a dumb utility. We are not expecting file needs to be created. Okay. It is not going to create the file, or it is not going to copy the data. It is not going to delete. It does nothing. Okay. As simple as it does nothing. Okay. But just is a dummy. Dummy means like a dummy, right? English meaning. So if I submit, I can come to know whether JCL is correct or not syntactically. Whenever you submit the JCL, it will generate a one job ID. So this is the one going to, it's very important. Job 0013. If you submit second time, now 133, right? So you can see this job got executed, max is 0. So maximum condition code, syntactically nothing. There is no problem syntactically, everything is fine. That is the meaning of max is 0. So enter. I'll submit again. Now 134, earlier 133, now 134, enter. You can see max is 0. Okay, if any error is there, we will get the syntax error. I'll remove equal and I'll submit it. So you see that JCL error, internal error. JCL error and within the bracket internal means it is syntax error. Okay, I'll enter. How to see the error, how to fix the error, that I'll talk about them tomorrow. Okay, I'll stop for today as it is a day one training. So I don't want to take heavy content. So I log off like this properly. This is how you do log off. I'll stop recording.